long ago, underscoring that there was a call came in of a sound of a single gunshot, and that's what you're looking at. And I think that, we've said some of these statistics throughout our coverage, but I think it does bear repeating just at to give our viewers some context of the magnitude of what law enforcement is dealing with. This campus of 7,000 total staff members, 274 total beds, and this is a 243-acre facility. So you see these pictures from the ground and from the air of law enforcement surrounding this area, and just thinking about how large this area is. And we heard from Captain Paul Starks, and it sort of struck me when he was talking about the mindset of what officers are dealing with in this situation, going into this building, not knowing what they're dealing with. Again, this is an unconfirmed report of a shot fired. So presumably they're walking into this building, walking around this building, and have to approach every turn of every corner, every face they see with very high alert, very high intensity, as they're trying to determine exactly what's going on. So you can imagine that in that mindset, it's a very difficult circumstances for these law enforcement, which of course is just coming several days after the scare happened at Building 197 at the Navy Yard. Then there were concerns over the July 4th weekend. Thankfully, nothing came to fruition, but concerns and warnings about domestic terror attacks happening in the United States. So the mindset right now of law enforcement, when you get these calls in about possible shootings, you can just imagine the tension and the intensity that's going through their minds, not to mention just shootings that have happened across the country recently. Of course, Charleston, South Carolina, Garland, Texas. These situations, you would stand to reason, are on the mindset of law enforcement as they're approaching the situations like they are at Walter Reed right now, as you're looking both from the ground and the sky. Again, just law enforcement approaching and surrounding this enormous campus. We did see earlier personnel from inside of Walter Reed walking out with their hands raised, with their arms raised as they walked out of the gate. I know Rebecca Cooper, our reporter on the ground, was saying Gate 2 does seem to be a focus, and we do see some law enforcement, some movement there at the gate. You can see in the bottom right of, or top right now of the screen, people walking out of Walter Reed, perhaps staff members. We don't have any of that information confirmed right now, but again, 7,000 total staff members. And we talk about 274 total beds. Of course, Walter Reed, a military personnel. This is known as the President's Hospital, and you have questions of mobility dealing with that many military personnel in the hospital right now. So many concerns for law enforcement as they're dealing with this situation. Rebecca Cooper is on scene right now. Rebecca, what can you tell us about what's going on?
We're still seeing some movement inside gate number 2, where we're seeing law enforcement with their weapons visible, going alongside the gate, talking to the various security guards that are positioned at the gate. We have not seen any additional law enforcement pull inside. A few minutes ago, we saw several cars come back inside the gate. But right now, it is eerily quiet as we are waiting to get any updates. Again, the employees who had been here and hoping to go inside, they felt like they needed to get inside to work, said they were not getting any communication in terms of what to do. But then state troopers positioned here outside the gate then cleared them away from that gate entrance and told all of the cars to leave as well. They have continued to keep this part of Rockville Pike shut down, and they are simply now going throughout the campus and trying to determine what, if anything, they can find. There doesn't seem to be a sense of, there's certainly not a sense of panic here. It's still much more a sense of caution that they're taking. Lots of people that you can see right now, some of the law enforcement walking across the grounds outside Walter Reed, but no one with any weapons drawn of any type. Right now it seems to be in a very cautionary mode.
Rebecca, one quick question for you. Talk about that cautionary mode. Are you sensing a different mindset or just a different feel than when you got to the scene perhaps 30, 45 minutes ago? Has that changed in the time you've been there?
That's a great question. No. Contrary to what we saw at the Navy Yard, there has not been an overall sense of panic. And I wouldn't even say there was panic at Navy Yard, but we saw obviously that much more visible presence. And look at this now, Jeff Goldberg. We're seeing some vehicles now re-entering Rockville Pike. So that may give you your answer to the question in terms